Simple Minds here at 97.3 ABC Illawarra. How are you going? You with Nick Rheinberger. Nice to have your company this morning. Have you tried vaping? Have you tried replacing your regular cigarette with an e-cigarette to suck in the vapour instead of the toxic tar and smoke, etc.? What you may not know is that you cannot actually get nicotine products to put in your e-cigarette in Australia. It's against the law. And some people, including my next guest, Senator David Leyonhjelm, suggest that this is an unscientific attitude and will actually cause more people to die of smoking, or certainly to remain addicted to it. He also says that the crossbench has put the Turnbull government on notice. No bills for which Health Minister Greg Hunt is responsible will pass through the Senate until he reverses the ban on nicotine for e-cigarettes. I caught up with the Senator last week to get him to explain.
The House committee, which inquired into e-cigarettes, in my opinion, was nobbled by Greg Hunt, the Health Minister. The evidence is overwhelming that e-cigarettes are a very viable way of quitting smoking. Everybody agrees that people should quit smoking, and if people don't quit smoking, they suffer the ill effects of smoke. And the rest of the world is moving towards providing what amounts to harm minimisation methods for quitting smoking, including e-cigarettes. Not in Australia, and it would appear at the behest of the Health Minister, Greg Hunt. So we've decided that because all the evidence is overwhelmingly in favour of allowing e-cigarettes, making them available, helping people quit cigarettes, he's blocking that, but we're going to block him. So any bills which come from him with his fingerprints on it into the Senate, the crossbench is going to say, no, we're not going to support them. So you better hope he's got Labor on board, because he won't be getting them through the Senate until he changes his approach to this issue. So
is the crossbench totally united on this?
No, I don't want to verbal them. I haven't spoken to all the crossbench, but the government requires 10 out of 12 crossbenches to get its numbers, and it's not going to get that. I can absolutely guarantee that at least 4 crossbenches and probably 6 crossbenches are on my side. The others I just haven't asked yet.
And tell me just the health argument here for e-cigarettes.
Yes. So when you smoke tobacco, you're smoking it for the nicotine, but in the process you're also getting thousands of chemicals, harmful chemicals, in particular tar, and it's tar and other chemicals like it that cause lung cancer and emphysema and heart disease. It's not the nicotine that causes those problems. When you replace all those chemicals with just one, which is nicotine, you're still addicted to it, so it's still not ideal, but you aren't taking in all those other chemicals. So the health risks are substantially lower. In fact, Public Health England is so convinced of it. They said it was 95% less risk. The NHS in the UK is recommending e-cigarettes as a quitting option, which seems to be more successful than gum and patches and things like that, which also provide nicotine substitutes.
Right.
So the health benefits are you're not smoking tobacco, you're not smoking smoke anymore.
So as I understand it, if someone wanted to quit smoking in that way or use it as a substitute, you can buy the cigarette, but you can't buy the nicotine vapour capsules, the liquids, and you can get them from overseas. Are they in a tricky legal area if they're doing that?
Yeah, that's right. You can import it for personal use.
Yeah, so you can do that legally?
Yes, you can do that. It's actually illegal in Queensland to smoke them or to vape them, but I don't know if anybody would ever get prosecuted for it. The actual e-cigarettes themselves, the little electronic devices which turn it into vapour, they're legally available. It's just the nicotine that's not, and there's no. It would be illegal to try to import it for commercial purposes. So no retailers, obviously, in Australia can sell it to you, but you can bring it in just for personal use. And it is a bit of a grey area whether you're allowed to use it when it gets here. But so there are quite a lot of people who are using these e-cigarettes in Australia. But, you know, the problem is that the vast majority of smokers are low-income areas, low-income people, and Aborigines and people on welfare and that sort of stuff. They're paying massive amounts of money for their habit in taxes on cigarettes. They're probably the least likely to go and find a way to import nicotine from overseas.
So as someone whose philosophy is about freedom of choice, you'd suggest, I don't want to verbal you either, but that people should be free to choose stupid things like smoking, but they should also be free to be able to choose nicotine vapor to help get them out of it.
Absolutely, yes. I don't defend smoking, but it is a free choice thing, and if they want to smoke, they should be permitted to do it. But it would be very much in their favour if they gave it up, and e-cigarettes as a way of getting off it. And even if you don't believe in my freedom of choice philosophy of life, it's a harm minimisation approach. You know, it's a lot less risky than smoking tobacco, and we take a harm minimisation approach to other things. So why not cigarettes?
All right, David Leyonhjelm, good to talk to you. Thanks very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.